Recently, Elon Musk predicted that GM would soon file for bankruptcy, and it's difficult to disagree with him. To emerge from bankruptcy protection in 2009, General Motors transferred the assets of the original firm to a new owner known as New GM. During the process, GM closed certain underperforming assets and a sizable chunk of its debt. Welcome back to another exciting video from Tech Vision. Today's video is about Elon Musk. GM will go bankrupt next month. Before we start the video, please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. GM had a short-term versus long-term perspective and a lot of dead weight. They essentially kicked the time bomb until they could no longer kick it, and then it blew up. And now that GM is struggling to compete with companies like Tesla, Elon Musk predicts that they will declare bankruptcy. What justifies his claim? Exactly. Stay tuned, you'll be startled to learn. General Motors grew from a bit of business in 1908 to a corporate behemoth within a few decades. People once believed that GM was too big ever to go. Many employees invested their whole lifetime's worth of money into the corporation, which had high investor trust. Everyone understood their error when the company previously filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2009 instead of the other way around. Even amidst one of the most significant recessions in American history, nobody saw General Motors experiencing financial ruin. Thank goodness the company was reorganized and given another chance. If GM had been forced to file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, it would have been completely dismantled. Instead, it would have resulted in the layoff of over 200,000 workers and cost investors billions. After its founding in 1908, GM continued to grow over the ensuing 20 years. Numerous factors contributed to the company's rise to prominence as one of the largest automakers in the world. Henry Ford felt morally opposed to providing customers credit, similar to giving them lines of credit in the 1920s. But GM was more than willing to issue financing, making its cars more affordable for a broader spectrum of purchasers. You might be curious about what caused such a dependable household name to file for bankruptcy and what the future holds. GM was a great business that grew over time. From its founding until the 1970s, it had significant growth due to its inventiveness and pride, but this was only possible for a while. GM made numerous blunders during the last 3 decades, resulting in its bankruptcy. In the early 1980s, GM's financial situation began to alter. It was suffering some of its most devastating losses ever. Before the turn of the century, most of these losses were caused by a brief recession. It experienced a short return, but the terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center in 2001 and the beginning of a new recession worsened the situation for the corporation. These episodes did not contribute to GM's collapse. Due to several additional factors, GM persevered through the crisis and eventually became one of the biggest corporate disasters in history. Some of these explanations included failed vehicle product lines. Everybody is familiar with GM's well-known series of vehicles, including the Corvette, Pontiac GTO, and the Vega and Chavit. Even though these brands may not have harmed GM's reputation, they hurt its revenues. Payments to retired employees were another factor that helped GM survive the economic downturn. GM was praised for providing generous pensions and health insurance to former employees for a long time. In prosperous times, they were admired for their charitable deeds. Each automobile incurred a cost of a few $1,000s, which was, of course, passed on to the consumer. For more than a century, GM's financial situation was also impacted by poor management and a loss of creativity. The success of GM was sparked by its inventiveness. When a new direction entered the picture, the organization descended into a bureaucratic quagmire. The demand for these automobiles fell sharply when gas costs skyrocketed. Many customers wanted to purchase more fuel-efficient, environmentally friendly cars like hybrids, but GM gave such product lines minimal attention. Then, it appeared that automakers like Tesla negatively impacted GM for a long time. GM was one of the few essential corporations in an industry with an oligopoly. They consequently have yet to respond to new competitors entering the worldwide market. Their market share decreased dramatically as a result of their inability to formulate a clear strategy to fend off competition from European and global automakers. Mismanagement played a big part in GM's bankruptcy. Knowing this, the business is making new efforts to make up for its prior mistakes and advance toward a greener, more lucrative future in its desire to become inventive and go toward a more lucrative end. The company's EV charging program, made up of GM Energy, Ultium Home, Ultium Commercial, and Ultium Charge 360, was just released. Bidirectional charging devices, V2H and V2G equipment, stationary storage, solar products, software, cloud management tools, microgrid solutions, and hydrogen fuel cells are just a few of the products the division will provide to home and commercial customers. Because they can serve as a backup energy source in the case of a blackout, virtual power plants will also be a source of revenue for GM Energy. Large batteries are being used in several EVs. The 200 kilowatt-hour battery pack in the Chevy Silverado EV can power an average home for 21 days. EVs can also feed power back into the grid during heavy demand. GM Energy will be the one to sell that electricity back to the utilities when energy demand is strong. GM, PG&E, and others had already collaborated in California to create a car-to-grid technology. Bidirectional charging stations are designed to push and pull energy from electric vehicles at the same time. He considers high-capacity batteries as backup electrical grid storage for related projects and EV power sources. Additionally, GM works with Granite Rock, Con, and New Hampshire Electric Cooperative. When GM's battery operations start up and the output of its Altium-branded battery systems rises, the company aims to switch its battery cells and storage units gradually. The company also intends to eliminate all drawbacks and problems related to EV ownership and charging by developing its standby power generators using hydrogen fuel cells under the moniker Hydrotech. Additionally, GM wants to displace Tesla as the innovator in EV technology. The home and public charging infrastructure must keep up with the advancement and widespread adoption of electric vehicles. GM's Ultium Charge 360 contains specialized Altium fast chargers, allowing consumers to find and utilize public chargers. Tesla offers a wide range of energy solutions, from the power wall to a complete roof covered in solar panels, for keeping the lights on during a power loss or for a long time to address the problems with public EV charging networks. Geek demand for energy to counter Tesla and give Ultium customers more options for energy use. GM announced the launch of GM Energy, an initiative for energy solutions. According to a news release, Ultium Charge 360 is a part of the brand new GM Energy division. Ultium Home and Ultium Co. are also included. Altium owners can access the best EV power alternatives with these initiatives. General Motors claims its energy is a brand new energy ecosystem rather than just a few innovative applications and residential batteries. GM said the new OTM services would utilize bidirectional charging solar panels, hydrogen cells, and several other alternative energy sources to ensure that customers only need to contact GM in the future for their energy requirements. Additionally, GM disclosed cooperation with SunPower, a provider of solar energy, to build a network of future customers' houses that will serve as a secure haven for electric cars. With that system, the 2024 Chevy Silverado EV will make its premiere. To accelerate the rollout, GM reportedly collaborated with energy companies around the country. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content.